Why don't you give me a quick, in case anyone doesn't know, give me a quick little, this is who I am and this is what I'm up to.
You want to start?
Go ahead, Kev.
Start.
Hey, feel free to brag a little. You know
glad
what
this
I mean?
isn't
We gotta
like
get
a
people's
game of
attention. We're at the
skate
end
right
of the
now.
day.
This is crazy.
People are getting
Sitting
tired.
next to some legends. My name's Kevion Sturdivant, aka Coach Kevion, and I'm the owner-founder of Case Real Estate and Project Mindset. So at the end of the day, I'm a real estate agent, life coach. I've been doing this work since 98, 99. And man, I'm inspired to work with people on their big goals, their big dreams in life. Sometimes that involves a dream home. Other times it just involves helping people visualize what they really want from their life. Woo.
My name's Paul Rodriguez. I'm a professional skateboarder. Been doing it for about 17 years professionally. I have a sponsorship with Nike, and I'm also an owner, founder of Primitive Skateboards and Apparel.
All right, my name's Mikey Taylor. I used to be a pro skateboarder. I was a skateboarder for 15 years. As I transitioned out, I started a real estate fund, which I'm a founder and manage now. We invest in apartment buildings, but we created it to help really athletes and people start planning for the future, building passive income, and kind of giving themselves cushion to protect themselves through the unexpected. So that's what I do.
Woo!
Crazy. Super dope.
Okay, so I'm gonna be honest. When I was putting this panel together, I was really excited for it, but I didn't quite know what to call it. I didn't quite know what the through line was between all four of us, and I decided that it's really mindset. You guys all practice and have very strong mindsets, and I think it was cool guys like you coming into my life that made me sort of realize that mindset was even something that you could alter. I think a lot of people grow up thinking, no, the world just sucks, dude. It's not me, it's the world sucks. Like, you don't understand my parents, my friends, like, it's different. And I think you guys really opened my eyes to the fact that that could be changeable and it could be worked on. So my question for all three of you is, when can you remember that this practice or even thinking about this type of stuff entered your life, and how did it affect you? Mikey, I know you have a good story about this.
Yeah. You want me to start?
Go for it.
You start, because Mikey literally has a moment like a movie scene.
Yeah, it's weird. It is like a movie scene. So I didn't really think mindset was anything. I just did what I did and had no really plan or effort really or strategy to it. I just lived my life. And what happened is I became a pro skateboarder. I started becoming really successful in it, and I had started to change. I didn't even realize I was changing. I started becoming really negative. I was complaining about everything. Every new kid that came up, I talked shit on him. I really had become this person that I really ultimately didn't like, except I didn't really notice that it had happened. Until one night, which is so insane that it was so clear, I was at a Christmas party for one of my sponsors. I'm walking home to the hotel, and I had this moment where I was just thinking about myself, really selfishly, but just thinking about who I was. And I was so disgusted about the person I had become that it stopped me in my tracks. It's 2 a.m. I sit down on the curb. I'm under this street light. It's straight out of the movies. And I'm crying. I hate who I was. And so whatever, I have this moment. I'm okay, that was weird, whatever, shake it off. Go to the hotel, go to sleep, wake up the next morning, and there was just something about it where I had had enough. And so there was a moment where I just decided I don't want to be this anymore. And so I spent the next, it's been 12 years. I spent the next 12 years every single day working on trying to be better than I was. And it's a lot of work. I still work on it every day, but for me, that was the first time I experienced that the way I look at the world directly affects who I am as a person, even from my relationships, opportunities, life in general. There was such a transformation for me through that moment. Mm-hmm. And it's freaky that it was all right then and there, but that was the first experience I've had towards it, and it's every single morning I work at trying to be better at it. So.
Heck yeah. P-Rod?
That's what's up.
I don't know if I could say it was ever one specific moment. I was really lucky. My situation was coming up is my father was also a well-known comedian, actor, and whatnot. And so I grew up seeing someone in my life already living their dream. So in my mind, that's just what you did. It's just normal. You just, cool, I'm in love with this, so this is what I want to do, and I'm going to do it and try and be great at it. So I was very lucky to have that example early on, and I don't think I even realized it until I got a little older, probably making some, a name for myself in skateboarding and realizing that other people around me in the skate world, whatever, some people didn't think like that. Some people it was negative, like, just this was all an accident, it got lucky or this or that. And people would even tell me, you're just lucky, it just happened for you. And it didn't start clicking on me that I kind of had a little different way of viewing it until as I got older. And now it's like constantly evolving and growing as I meet more people and meet more like-minded people and come to places like this. And then I'm thinking like, I have to go back to the drawing board and reevaluate what it means now after I see all the new information I take in,
Yeah. Kev?
Yeah. Well, I think whether we believe it or not, the way we think has a lot to do with our parents. Whether your parents were your actual parents or your grandparents, whoever really raised you, we end up either thinking like them or trying to think the opposite of them. And fortunately for me, my dad had a champion mindset. He just happened to be playing the wrong sport. And that sport, for him in work, was cocaine trafficking. And that ended up getting him sentenced to 20 years. So my earliest memory of really how mindset shapes your world are really the letters that I got from my father when he was in prison. I would be 6, 7 years old, and I would be reading these letters, and he would be telling me things, because my dad was also really into positivity. He read Tony Robbins' books. It's just the way he was raised got him caught up in this way of life that wasn't healthy. But he would send me these letters, and I'd be 6, 7 years old, and they'd say things like, just because I'm here locked up, just know that my mind is free. And because I'm here, it doesn't mean that I'm actually having a bad life. He would tell me things that he was doing, and I was like, this is crazy. Like, my dad does not mind being here. And we'd go and visit him, and he would be behind a glass, and he would tell me what he was up to. So at a very early age, like, when you see your hero locked up, but he's still living life in a positive way, it made me think that I could do anything. And when I would be in a situation where I'm in school and I didn't enjoy it, or, we went from having everything to being on welfare, my mom adopted his same kind of thinking. And, like, we never let our situation affect how we felt. So for me, it started at a very early age, learning that your circumstance doesn't determine how you feel. How you feel is a product of your mind and what you're thinking.
Kevion, I want to ask you this specifically, because one thing about you is you've been practicing this stuff for a long time.
Yeah.
You've been walking on fire with Tony Robbins. Do you see all the news about Tony Robbins?
No.
Okay, we'll talk about it after.
What happened?
You've been walking on fire with Tony Robbins since you were, like, in my mind, like 8 years old or something. My question is it still an everyday sort of battle to, like, I know you have this crazy routine.
Yeah.
You're up at 4:47 in the morning. You're riding a 5K on your Peloton, or whatever. Is it every day, or is it easy now?
It's an everyday battle. Every single day.
Yeah.
It's a battle. The reason why it's a battle every single day is because I am telling myself every single day that today is going to be a breakthrough in my career. Today is going to be a breakthrough in my marriage. Today is going to be a breakthrough financially. Today is going to be a breakthrough in who I am as a father. Every single day I'm trying to level up. So in aiming for a breakthrough, there's going to be breakdown. I think the only way to say, well, I'm not going to have any struggle today is to set small, tiny, boring goals. You know what I mean? And that's not me. So every day is a challenge, dude. Every day it's a battle in my mind of, like, you don't belong here. This isn't you. You're not educated enough. You're not connected enough. And I'm literally like, fuck you, yes I am.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like I always say, your ego is not your amigo. It's a battle every single day, man. I think the only way to stop it is to stop setting huge goals. And that's not me. I'm going to continue aiming to get to something higher. And so it's just the only way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. P-Rod, I wanted to ask you too. I don't think I've ever asked you this. We talked about it a little bit, but how long have you been a pro skateboarder?
17 years.
17 years. I don't know. I'm sure you wouldn't admit to this. I would consider you roughly the LeBron James of skateboarding.
I'm back in that.
Meaning that you've had an incredible career. You've won countless, awards, medals, contests, even though we know that's not quite the true judge of it, but we all know what we're talking about. Have you been your whole career injury-free when it comes to serious injuries?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Sprained ankles, but yeah.
And now you're relatively, you're towards the latter part of your career.
Don't say that.
And how long ago? A year ago?
Almost a year ago, yeah.
A year ago, you had your first major injury.
Yeah.
At the latter part after this 17-year career. What was your injury, first of all?
So I tore my ACL, both meniscus, and my MCL in my right knee.
So
all in one go.
So that means surgery, that means...
Yeah, full surgery. I'm about 7 months out of surgery right now.
Yep.
So 2 more months, hopefully I'll be skating.
So this we talked about, but you kind of had like a moment to say, okay, well, I kind of hang it up and, whatever, and had a good career. Or you fight, train, do all of the insane workouts to get back to this, to finish out on your terms how you want to.
Yeah.
You chose that route.
Yes.
So you were back in the gym before your surgery, making sure that all the surrounding muscles are as strong as they can be.
Yep.
So that with the moment you get all those new tendons put in your body, you can skate as soon as possible.
As soon as physically possible, yeah.
What was your mindset? How did you decide that it wasn't time to give up when it could have been a perfect reason to put a bow on it and say, this is over? How did you decide to take charge, push through all that, and do leg workouts while you have a torn up knee? What was the thought process there?
Well, it was confusing for sure at first. Because even before the injury, I was kind of in this state, and I don't want to say an ungrateful state for the last few years, but like kind of just going through the motions. I wasn't necessarily challenging myself to get better. I'd already, I feel happy with my career. I'm thankful I accomplished everything I wanted to do, and I was kind of just going through the motions, and then this happens. And I could have, like you said, used it to say, okay, I guess that was a sign that maybe it is time to look in another direction and see what else life has for me or whatever. But I don't know, this little voice in me just kept saying, fuck that. Like what you're saying, fuck that. Like, why? Why does it have to be like that? Like, that's not a way a champion goes out. That's not the way a real one would go out. And it just kept nagging at me and eating at me, and I just decided this was the obstacle I needed in life. It actually I started thinking of it, it's a blessing. I actually fell more in love with skateboarding. I got more excited to see, not only can I come back from this injury and be better than I was before, but, like you chose to say, in my later half of my career, on top of that happening, this got me excited. This was like, wait a minute, this is going to be fun coming back from that. So that gave me a place to put my energy every single day. I'm doing these workouts that I hate doing, but in a weird way, I also love doing them. And now I can see the vision. I can see the goal. I'm more fired up than ever before. So somehow, thank God, after lots of prayer and meditation, I was able to, God gave me that state of mind. So that's the way I look at it.
Who would have thought a completely exploded knee is a blessing?
It actually really is. It's taught me a lot about myself, about my mind. And not only that, I've looked up to so many of these heroes in my life that have also gone through these crazy obstacles. I'm like, what is the other option? Just sit here and take it and just be over it? Fuck that. Like, it's not like the worst injury in the world. Like, people go through this injury. Why can't I? And why can't I be better after it?
Yeah.
So, to me, that's really exciting. That just makes me motivated.
Yeah. And then, Mikey, you also recently, you said you were a pro skateboarder for 15 years?
Yeah.
You recently had a transition period that was, I think, difficult, right?
It's worse than difficult.
Okay, so the point is, and I'll let you explain it, I guess, a little bit better because I feel like I'm trying to tiptoe that I don't offend anyone.
Go ahead, yeah.
Is your skateboarding career sort of came to an end? It was time to start to figure out how to transition. You're one of the lucky ones that had the presence of mind to start to look at another industry, start to put in the work and get into that, and you were hungry and ambitious. There's kind of this thing in the skateboard world, and I'm sure in a lot of worlds and a lot of childhood friends, where it's not cool to succeed. It's not cool to leave skateboarding. A lot of pro skateboarders go work at their sponsors that used to sponsor them. They now work in the warehouse because you just don't want to leave skateboarding. You decided, screw that, I'm going to leave. I'm going to go learn real estate. And I'm going to do it under the mission of teaching people how to be more financially stable after their careers come to an end. But all that being said, it sounds so great. You still had to deal with everyone on your social media, everyone that you talk to, everyone that whatever. They're not accepting this new Mikey. Yeah. They don't want new Mikey. They want old Mikey just out skateboarding and whatever. And you got a lot of backlash. And I feel like it made you sort of wonder if you were making the right move and stuff like that. Can you talk about that transition a little bit and how you feel about it now? Now you're speaking. I saw you're going out and speaking to people. Yeah. And you're like legit just fully owning this entrepreneur thing, man. So what is that? How was that for you?
Okay, so I'll just give it some context. When I was skating, I made my money because I knew how to skateboard. At 21 years old, I had no idea how to make money after it, which terrified me. So what I started doing was while I was making money, I was really living like I was broke so that I could invest into things that would build me passive income so that if I got hurt or my career ended, I would be okay. And while I was doing that, I wasn't telling anybody because I was really, in skateboarding, we don't like if you hear somebody say, I want to be the best skateboarder ever, we think that's whack. Like anyone who tries to put a plan or achieve greatness, skaters look at that as not cool. We're really anti-success or establishment. So I had this life that I was so terrified to show because I didn't want to get made fun of or be whack. And so basically my career ends, and that ended up being the thing that saved me. I was kind of blindsided by it. I had a contract for 2 years. They found a loophole in it, ended it basically overnight, and I found myself not a pro skateboarder anymore, not making any money. And everything that I had done prior to that through investing was the thing that put me in a position to be okay. That was the good side of it. The challenge was I had put 25 years into wanting to be a pro skateboarder. I was a pro skateboarder for 15 years. My entire world was wrapped up in me being a pro skateboarder. My identity, the way that I perceived love, there was so much mixed into it. So when that gets taken away, I found myself the only thing I could explain at the time was I didn't know who I was anymore. I just didn't feel like me. And so in the beginning, I was trying to figure out how to get that feeling back. How could I be me again? How could I be Mikey Taylor? And having to do that with a social media following that knew me as Mikey Taylor, the pro skateboarder, which really was the worst experience of my life was this moment, which ended up now being on the other side, the biggest blessing I've ever had. But through it I had to really do a lot of soul searching to find out who I was. And then once I came to this conclusion that was not overnight, there's a lot that went into it, then I had to come to terms with putting out this me, right? I'm a pro skateboarder. Everybody follows me because I skateboard, and now I'm not a pro skateboarder. Now I'm talking about real estate and budgeting and setting yourself up. That's not what skateboarders talk about. So there was a combination of a lot of different things, backlash from social media, followers, just me being okay with who I am and promoting that in a new way. Tough, but now maybe the biggest blessing I've ever had, which is so weird. Worst experience of my life, best experience of my life, all in one.
And if someone came up to you after this and said, hey, I'm facing this big shift in my life too, what should I do? Is the advice to get it over with?
Yeah.
What do you tell someone now that you know that?
That's a good question. So I think there's two parts of it. If it's something to, for a career, right? I don't know if most people have to do a full 180 in their career like I did, but a lot of experiences through our lives happen that kind of have a similar effect, right? We lose somebody we care about, we lose a job. There's always a trial in our life, right? And so I think during that experience, there's two things that I had to do that really helped me through. One, I kind of had to like let go of all like entitlements, because like I built something successful, and like let's say I got to like the 7th floor, I couldn't just transfer over to the next thing and be on the 7th floor. I had to like humble myself and go back to the 1st floor and go, okay, I gotta like start at the beginning and do this all over again, right? Two, the other thing is like I would just lie to myself, honestly. Like, it's like, you know, when you say a lie long enough, it becomes your reality. I would do that to myself. I'm gonna get through this. It's gonna be okay. I'm gonna be better on the other. And I just kept telling myself what felt like lies. And after a while, I just like started believing it. And I think it like really helped me look at this situation as a trial and a season that was gonna end and would put me into a position that would be better. And that's exactly what happened. And now being on the other side, I just look at trials as the thing that's gonna define us. And it was either gonna make me great or be the thing that ended up crippling me. And I would just talk about that one thing forever. And I just didn't want that. So I would just fill my brain with like, you got this, you're gonna get through this, it's gonna be better. And then it ended up being better. Yeah. You know?
Woo! Kev, I want to start with you because unfortunately I just feel like on some of these we're trying to pack so much into so little time. I have a question for the audience. How many people practice any sort of gratitude, affirmations, any sort of mindset practice?
What's up? All right.
That's good.
All right.
And how many have never tried any of it? Look at that crowd. Okay, so then my question was going to be how do you start, but apparently everyone here has already started. Yeah. So from 3 guys who do it well and who have incorporated into their lives, their family lives, their professional lives, how does I'm guessing it's probably totally different for all 3 of you. How does it look in your life when it comes to routine, affirmations, gratitude?
Well, I think first and foremost, it's important to know that like, if it's not in your schedule, it doesn't exist. That's how I treat it. I think you have to treat what's important to you as a part of your schedule. If you really care about it, you'll put it in your schedule. So for me, it's a lot about time blocking these things. When I wake up, I do not feel inspired, powerful. At 4:47 a.m., I get up every single day. I'm like, dude, you gotta be kidding me. We have a newborn. Sometimes we've been up all night. And I feel like, just go to bed, dude. Who cares? And I have accountabilities in place, right? So like, if I'm not on the bike by 5:15 or running, I have to pay 11 people $100. I have
do they have blank checks, or how do you do that?
No, the rule is they have to catch me.
Okay, but
right?
I just want to say you've done that before where you've literally given people
Yeah, I have
checks.
other ones where I have some other games going on where I have like, dang, my wife's gonna know this. But I have like $5,000 in checks just written out randomly to people who they can cash it. Where's my wife at? But they're not getting cash because I'm not going.
So tell me, sorry, just quickly, because this is amazing. Yeah. How does it work? Like I have a check, and if you like don't get up in the morning, I get to go cash it?
Absolutely. Or I have another game that I play in my real estate business where I have a certain amount of appointments that I need to go on. If I miss those appointments, I have to eat a bite of turkey and cheese cat food on Insta Live. Yeah. I had another one where it was originally to eat a ghost chili pepper. And I was off on my appointments, and I missed it. It was kind of a discrepancy because it was really, I said I would go on 4 appointments. I didn't realize I said 4 seller appointments. So my team caught a discrepancy, and they said, hey, I was like, no, I did the 4 appointments. And they're like, no, you did 3 seller, 1 buyer. So I'm like, fine. I call my buddy, and I'm like, hey, where do you get a ghost chili, dude? And he's like, for what? I said, I lost this accountability thing. And he goes, don't do that. And he sent me all these YouTube clips, people freaking out, crying, oh my God, it's like I'm eating glass. Oh, da, 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 da. And so I text my group, I was like, yo, can you guys watch these videos real quick and can we come up with something else? Long story short, they're like, dude, cat food. And I was like, how about I get a tattoo of all of your initials? Would that be cool? So this random tattoo, R-I-M-E, is an accountability. So step one, put it in your schedule. Affirmations, whatever's important for you, put it in your schedule. Step two, unless you're like David Goggins or whatever, you're just a greatness automatically, man, more power to you. But implement accountability. Enroll people into holding you accountable to do the things you know you need to do, even if you don't feel like doing them. You know, I always think that if you do what nobody else wants to do for the next 5 years, you can do whatever you want for the rest of your life. But I think it takes accountability and putting it in your schedule. So I have certain practices that I do, and a big one is affirmations. I post my affirmations every morning. I read them. And they're just things that I'm trying to battle my mind with. And I write 3 to 5 affirmations in each of the 7 equities for my mind, body, soul, family, friends, business, and money. And I change them every 90 days. And usually as I'm reading the new ones, my mind's like, dude, you're so full of it. And I'm like, okay, read it the next day, read it the next day, read it the next day. By 21 days, I'm really starting to believe this stuff. So I read my affirmations every single day by like 5 a.m. Yeah.
I probably shouldn't have started with you.
Huh?
I shouldn't have started with you because yours is the. They're like,
you're
well,
the
I
one
say
that
thank
took
you
it to
every
the
now and
next
then.
level because Drama, when I kind of told him about affirmations, 2 weeks later, he sends me a damn affirmations mixtape. He's like, check these out. He went in a studio somewhere, took his affirmations, put a beat behind it.
And now I have 3D goggles.
And then the next time I went to your office, you had 3D goggles, and it's like, Chris Drama Path. I'm like, what the hell is happening, dude?
Hey, man, you got me started.
But it's the understanding that input equals output. You know, if you look at that word information, it really breaks down to information. Whatever we're putting in our minds over and over and over becomes who we are. And you ultimately become a magnet to what you want, good or bad. It's just a matter of re-engineering your mind to say, no, I am the best skater, rapper, real estate agent, parent, husband, wife. Because with whatever you can trick your mind to believe that you are, it will become true.
All right, Paul, follow that, man.
What was the question? Sorry.
What do you do? I remember you used to have, do you still have, like, when you were in a contest and you would say, like, a meditation or something to yourself?
Yeah.
Sorry
that,
if I just...
That
I hope
was
that's...
OCD.
Okay.
That was OCD.
Okay, sorry.
So what I do, I'm not like a super religious person or anything of that nature, but I believe in God. Mm-hmm. So every morning I wake up, it's very simple. I just get on my knees and I pray. I don't have a time frame for it. I just kind of just get it off my chest, whatever is I'm feeling, whatever I'm asking for or grateful for, I mix it all in there together. And I speak on it, and I ask God for things I would like to accomplish or become, and I thank Him as if it's already been done. Mm-hmm. I thank God as if it's already been done. Then I do my best every day is try and develop my faith when I wake up, or from the prayer when I get up from it. I just try and go about my day as if everything I just prayed for was already real, and just live the day like that was it. And yeah, for some reason for me, it just puts a pep in my step, and it makes me just ready to go out and attack the day, because in my mind, it's already done. I just got to go through the motions now. So that's my thought.
Mikey.
It's funny, I have like basically a hybrid of both of them.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
That's why when they were saying, I'm like, oh, this is perfect.
Yeah, so my morning starts, I have kids, so I'm the one that takes the kids to school. I wake them up at 7. So I get up at 5:30. First 30 minutes, I do a devotional. I read a part of the Bible, which is then breaks down devotional of what I'm actually reading, because a lot of times I can't comprehend it. After that, I go through my affirmations. Affirmations is not only my love language, it's like it fires me up, right? So I do, 5 things that I'm thankful for, 5 things that I want to become, and then after that, I have a paragraph of like myself and my perfect potential, right? So everything that I want to become, I write it out as if I've already done it. And then at that point, I do like either a yoga or a Peloton. I'm all fired up on the Peloton right now.
Really?
And then I go up, wake up the kids, make them breakfast, take them to school, and then I'm off to work. So that's my like little morning. I do it every morning.
That's so good.
Yeah. So
That's what I love. That's what I love so much about you guys is like we all come from the skateboard world, and we come from. I'm sure a lot of people come from worlds like this, but where all of this stuff is so looked down upon. It's so whack. It's so cheesy. It's so like, all right, dude, you lost your mind. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I think that for cool people to sort of talk openly about this is like a pretty big deal. You know, because I do think this is something, I think there should be, like starting in middle school, there should be mindset class. Absolutely. You know, in between freaking learning about algebra and shit, all the other shit you don't use. And I think it's stuff like this that will kind of spark that, right? Last question, because unfortunately we're just freaking tight on time. What percentage would you say that your mindset, the way you view yourself, your clarity on your goals, all of that, what percentage does that play in success?
Me first?
Go ahead.
Can I answer this?
Yeah, hell yeah,
But I actually
dude.
want to answer it through something with Paul. When we were kids, we've known each other since we were 13, 14. And at that point, I was just skating because like it was fun. I wanted to be like, I just enjoyed it. When I would ask Paul, what do you want to do with skating? He would say, I'm going to be the best skateboarder ever. Like he was so like, this is what I'm going to be. This is how I'm going to become. And Paul ended up being, and he won't tell you this, one, if not two, of the best skateboarders that ever live. He is that good. Kobe, LeBron, and to see his mindset at such a young age, where I couldn't even comprehend it at that point. I really think it was that led him to be so focused and confident in himself to become that, and he basically just willed it into reality. And I watched it firsthand. Best friend since that young. So that was. I seen it happen with you, man. So
Look at that.
yeah, I think 95 to high, really high.
Yeah. Okay, Paul, come on. You're the.
I would say, I mean, it's 100%. Really, it's like if you didn't have an engine in your car, it's not going to drive, right? You can have the frame, the interior, everything, but like if the engine's not right, then the car's not going anywhere. So like the body's the vehicle, right? If the mind's not right, then the body's not going to go where you want it to go. So in my mind, I think it's 100% up here and in here, you know.
Remix what Paul said. I would say that it's 100%. And the mind is like the GPS.
Let me just tell you something real quick, because you guys are all pretty much saying 100%, which I agree. I spoke to this guy the other day who does mindset training with like Alabama football and Russell Wilson and stuff like that. And he said, yeah, we teach the guys it's about 5%. And I'm like, bro, you are out of your mind. This is what you do for a living. It's way significantly more than 5%, right? But that's just how they look at it, and that's how they approach athletes because it is so physical. But anyway, I'm sorry to interrupt, but that's why I think it's not
like the foundation of what we work on also in the 7 equities. It's the goal is to be 100 everywhere. Can we? Right? Can you be 100 mentally, physically, spiritually, with your family, with your social life, with your career and money? The goal is 100 in all the areas. I don't want to be 98 with my family. I don't want to be 97 with God. My goal, my focus is to be 100 everywhere. So with mindset specifically, I think it's absolutely 100. I think that, if our mind is the car, a big part of it is really the GPS. Our mindset is the compass that tells us where we want to go. It's the theme, it's the message of our life's movie. Is this a horror? Is it a comedy? Is it a drama? Or is it a movie that gets people inspired out of their minds to do the dopest shit possible? You know what I mean? Mindset is what keeps you going and keeps you focused. And without it, I think we're like a ship in the ocean without a rudder. A lot of movement, but not getting anywhere. We got to be able to say, this is where I'm going. This is what I'm focused on.
There it is. That's it, man. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for, I think just, like I said, talking about this stuff and being such cool, like there's not a lot of people in this space that talk about these things. So I appreciate it very much. I know everyone here appreciates it. We're going to close it out with good old Charlie Rocket on a winning streak. And I'm just going to say now, because this will probably be the last time I'm on stage, I can't thank you all enough. This was way beyond how I hoped it would be and how I hoped it would turn out. You guys is an incredible crowd, and I just can't thank you all enough. I'm going to let Charlie take us out of here, and then I'll be out hanging out and talking.